Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatye Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Jnananandamayan Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. ఇవాళ మనము భగవద్గీతలోని 12వ అధ్యాయాన్ని చెప్పుకుందాము. సో we are going to know the meaning of 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita. So what is Bhagavad Gita and what does it teach? The Bhagavad Gita was a dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. We all know that. But what does it teach? Why is it relevant even today? That Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna on the battlefield to help him to come out of his breakdown. But why is it relevant even today? Because it focuses on two aspects basically. That means you have to know about your real self and then know about how to do your duty. If you are focusing on these two aspects, your life would become much happier and easier to go on. So let us see. Today we'll address Bhagavad Gita's 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga deals with devotion. What is devotion? Why is this devotion aspect coming in Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita can be divided into 3 parts. Like first part is talking about knowing about yourself. Second part talks about knowing about the Paramatma or the God. And then third self talks about uniting yourself with the God. So in between, 12th chapter is in between actually. It falls in the second part, the end of the second part. So when we are talking about knowing about yourself, so this part is dealt with in detail in the second chapter. So that when we are learning the second chapter, we can go into in depth. But now just to know, Bhagavad Gita is also addressing a devotion part here. When you're doing the work along with the devotion, then you will get extreme results. I mean very happy results. That is the crux of Bhagavad Gita. So he aspects, since see we are living in a world of dynamism. Every day things are changing, every day context is changing. So we have to act according to the context. So there's no one solution for any context because different people are in different contexts. So different people will have different solutions. But how does Bhagavad Gita address each people, each one's context and each one and give a solution to each one of them? So that we have to understand. So see, if when you're working, when you're considering your work as a worship and then working without any expectation, that is Bhakti Yoga, precisely. So let us see how this Bhakti Yoga goes on. This Bhakti Yoga starts with Arjuna's question. Arjuna is asking about 2 types of devotees. He is asking Lord Krishna, which type of devotee do you like the most? Or which type of devotee is the best devotee? Why is he bringing this devotion aspect to the work? Because see, when we are working with any expectations and if that expectation is not met, what will happen? We go into turbulent. Our mind becomes very turbulent. So we are not able to deal with the things properly. So that we have to understand before understanding what is Bhakti Yoga. Okay, devotion. Now what is devotion? Bhakti, we all know Bhakti, we talk about Bhakti, we talk about devotion, we all know about all this. But what I feel is devotion is like if you are combining your trust. Yeah. Hello. So when you're trust in God and you're working sincerely, that is nothing but devotion. So now Arjuna is asking about 2 types of devotees here. One is about a devotee who believes in the Nirguna Tattva of the God. That means knowing the Nirguna Tattva of the God and then praying to him or worshipping him. That what is Nirguna Tattva? See, God has no form. We know that. He is all pervading. We also know that. But understanding that nature and then worshipping him is the Nirguna Upasana. Because the God does not have any form and we cannot see him, and obviously if he doesn't have any form, he does not have any guna also. That is why we are saying Nirguna Tattva. So when we are talking about Nirguna Tattva and understanding that and then worshipping the God, that is Nirguna Tattva, worshipping the Nirguna form of God. That is, in English we can say he does not manifest, no, so non-physical form of God. But other form is like worshipping the physical form of God, and we call that as a Saguna Upasana. So these type of two upasanas are being addressed here in the Bhakti Yoga. One is the Nirguna Upasana and the second is the Saguna Upasana. Now Arjuna, why did he ask this question first of all? Why did Arjuna ask about these two types of devotion? So that this we have to go back to the last few chapters. See, as I told you in the beginning itself, first 6 chapters are dealing with knowing the real nature of the self. And second 6 chapters, that is 7th to 12th chapter, are dealing with the nature of the God. So now how to nature of the God or Paramatma? So when in the process of telling about the nature of the God, the Lord Krishna is addressing about the different aspects of the God, like how he is doing the Srushti, how he is involved in running this universe. All these things are being discussed in chapter 7, 8, 9. And in the 10th chapter, he talks about his own vibhutis. That means wherever he is, wherever he is present and how we can find him. So all these things is being discussed. And in the 11th chapter, when Arjuna asks about, okay, you're telling about all your forms where you're present. Now, can I see your universal form? Then Lord Krishna says, you can't see me in my universal form with your own this type of eyes. So you need some divya shakti or divya chakshu. That means divya eyes to see all this universal form. Then he says, okay, I will present you that divya chakshu to you and then show my universal form. So Lord shows his universal form to Arjuna. But why did he show that to him? Because of his eligibility. Arjuna was eligible to see that form in all ways, in all means. So Arjuna was shown that universal form. So when Arjuna sees that universal form, he says in the end, Lord Krishna, see, I'm not able to see this form. You just show me your original form. That way, then again, Lord comes back to his form in where he is seen as Lord Krishna itself. Then he says, whoever worships me in this form, also I will be liberating them, or I will be providing them with a lot of happiness. See, we all work towards happiness only. So what is the purpose of our life? Being happy. So being happy, how do we be happy? When we are coming out of our sorrow, when we are liberated from our sorrows, what is there is happiness. So happiness is absence of sorrow. So the purpose of our life is to be happy and overcome sorrows. So that is where we have to depend on the universal force or the God, what we say, Paramatma, God, or whatever name we are giving. That is up to us. But that force is always there, that universal force which is driving us. So we depend on that to be happy. So let us understand that way. Okay. Then he says, whoever is worshipping me in this form also, I will be liberating them from sorrows. Then Arjuna is getting a doubt. So in the 2nd chapter, Lord Krishna talks about the Nirguna form of God. Until 6th chapter, the same thing continues. The same, we have to, about the Nirguna Tattva of the Lord only. So, but then suddenly he's talking about the physical form. Then Arjuna is getting a doubt. Why are you talking about two forms? So, whoever, some devotees are, that means some devotees are worshipping the physical form. That is what is understood now. So, Okay, so now which devotee, whether the devotee who is worshipping the Nirguna form is the best devotee, or the devotee who is worshipping the Saguna form is the best devotee, that is what he is asking. Then evam, so let us see the first verse. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktaha tvam paryupasate. ये च अपि अक्षरम अव्यक्तं तेषांके योगवित्तमाः. That means he is asking, so okay, so this shloka is starting with the word evam. Evam means thus, because that means it is continuing from the 11th chapter. This is the 12th chapter, so that the discussion is continuing from the 11th chapter. That is the reason he is saying, okay, thus. So thus fixing your mind. So devotees, yuktaha means devotees here. So those devotees who are fixing their mind on you in the form of physical form. So whoever is fixing their mind on your physical form and worshipping you, and others who are this is one set of devotees. So what is the other set of devotees? Aksharam avyaktam. He's saying those who are fixing your mind on your aksharam avyaktam form. That means aksharam means imperishable. That means aksharam means which reduces. Aksharam means which does not reduce. So, or which does not perish. Ksharam means which perishes. Suppose we are taking a candle. If you are lighting the candle, after some time, the candle melts and it finally disappears. So that means that is a ksharam. Likewise, our bodies decreasing or reducing or decaying or disappearing. So these are all the means aksharam. That means Paramatma is aksharam. So he is always there. He cannot, you cannot find him reducing or decaying or even raising or growing also. That's a standard form. So that is aksharam. Aksharam means which is always there. See, even why do we say aksharam? For letters also we say aksharam, kada. So aksharam means that which cannot be destroyed anytime. So our education, because our education is always with us, aksharam. Maybe that nobody can take it away from us. Nobody can. That is always there with us. That is why these letters are called aksharam. Okay, so similarly, God is also like Paramatma has that aksharam, imperishable nature. And next, avyaktam. He does not manifest because see, vyaktam means which can be manifested and which our sense organs can realize or which they can identify. Which our sense organs can identify. That means that which manifests only we can identify with our sense organs. But this Paramatma, that means God, is of that avyaktam nature. Vyaktam, opposite is avyaktam. That means he does not manifest. That means we cannot see him or hear to him or in any way our sense organs cannot understand him or we can see him. So that is why it is called avyaktam. So this is the actual nature of the nirguna tattva. That means he does not have a form, so we cannot see. And he does not have, he does not, because we cannot see, we cannot hear to him. He does not have any of the qualities that our humans have, because he is above the human beings or any other jiva also, any other creature. He is above that because he is creating everybody. So, but he does not have any of these qualities. But sometimes, depending on the requirement, he will come in the form of an avatara and he will do the needful and then again disappear. So that means if needed he will come, he will manifest. That is how we have all these avatars, Rama avatara, Krishna avatara, all these avatars have come because of that. Because he with his Maya Shakti, he can manifest himself and we can see him. That is how these avatars have come. So Arjuna is asking now about two types of devotees. Now, one is Nirguna, those who are worshipping the Nirguna Tattva of the Lord. So this Aksharam and Avyaktam are the main two words which are describing this nature. And this Satata Yuktaha in the first line, that is describing the Saguna form, that means physical form. Fixing your mind. So how do we fix our mind? If we are seeing a form, we can fix our mind on that. If we are not seeing a form, we cannot fix our mind, because that is our human nature. So that is why he is saying this word, we can say that it is identical to the physical form. Okay, so now this is the question asked by Arjuna. Now from the second shloka, Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, is answering Arjuna's question. We'll see how he is answering. So the second question is Mayaveshya mano yemam nityayukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha teme yukta tamamataha. That means, see, Mayi. So whoever is fixing here, Mayi means on me. Aveshya, ante fixing. Manaha, their mind. So those who are fixing their mind on me, always, nityayuktaha, always, and worshipping me. Shraddhaya, ante with faith or with belief and with sincerity. Parayaha. So, thinking him to be the best. Okay. Upetaha, parayopetaha, teme yukta tamamataha. So, whoever is having these three qualities, what three qualities? First of all, they have to fix their mind on the God. And then second thing is, always they should worship. First, always fix their mind on the God and then worship Him with faith. And these two qualities, whoever is having these three qualities, one is fixing their mind on the God, Nityayukta, always Nityayukta upasate, always worshipping Him, and with faith, Shraddhaya parayopetaha. So whoever is endowed with these three qualities, they are the best devotees, he is saying. See, here we have to understand that he is not particularly focusing on whether those devotees who are focusing on, who are worshipping the Nirguna form of God, that is non-physical form of God, or those who are worshipping the physical form of the God. So he is not mentioning. Here he is just saying whoever is endowed with these three qualities. Here upetaha means endowed. That means whoever is having these three qualities are the best devotees. So what three qualities? One is they should fix their mind on Him. Second is always worship Him. And then third is with faith. So here we may get a doubt. In the first shloka, Arjuna asked, whoever is fixing their mind on you. Then we said about the physical form. So here also we can understand. See, here Lord Krishna has not mentioned specifically, but then he is saying whoever is fixing their mind on me, that means in whatever form. Either, see, there are some people who don't want any physical form to fix their mind on God, but some people need a physical form to fix their mind on God. So either ways, fixing the mind on God is important. Either you are taking a physical form or you are considering a non-physical form, both are okay. But the thing is, you have to fix your mind on Him. That is the first quality. Second is always worship Him. How to worship Him? Upasata. Upasate is saying how to worship Him. See, worshipping means, worshipping is different to different people. Some people may say doing puja is worshipping. Some people may say singing bhajans is worshipping. Some people may say doing work is worshipping. Some people may say serving people is worshipping. So worshipping means that depends from people to people. Different people may have different experience of worshipping. So that worshipping, you can define worshipping is depending on their mental stamina, depending on their thoughts, depending on their perception of serving others. All this go into upasana. So saguna upasana, nirguna upasana. So nirguna upasana, since we can't see God specifically, you don't know how He looks. But with saguna upasana, we can first fix our mind on Him. Then slowly we can transform our upasana into nirguna upasana. So here he has given 3 simple rules for a devotee to follow. See, you need not, I'm not asking you to follow my Nirguna Tattva or Saguna Tattva. First of all, fix your mind on me. You can fix your mind in different ways. See, work is worship. I told you before also. See, worship, doing a work without any expectation itself is a worship. So, you do your work for the sake of God. That is a worship. you do your duty perfectly, that is a worship. So however you're perceiving the type of worship, but first thing is you believe that there is God, and then have trust on him, then fix your mind on him, and then always worship him. That is more important. So this thing he has told very clearly. Now these three qualities are very important for a devotee. Now next he is saying, next three verses will be about the devotees who are worshipping his nirguna form. That means the non-physical form. Whoever is worshipping the non-physical form, he is talking about them. So let us see. Okay. Ye tvaksharamanirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamachalam dhruvam. See, here he is again explaining the qualities of his nirguna tattva with 8 words. See, ye, that means who, tu, but, who, here tu means but. So, yetva means yetu aksharam avyaktam. Yetvaksharam avyaktam. Okay, that means here he is talking about aksharam and avyaktam, two qualities of the nirguna tattva. Yetvakshana manirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate. So he is saying anirdesyam, whoever is worshipping my form, knowing my real nature. What is the real nature? He is explaining his qualities. First thing is he is saying anirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate. Yetvakshara, first thing is akshara, avyaktam, anirdesyam. So, yetvaksharam anirdesyam, that means first thing is aksharam, then anirdesyam, avyaktam, third one is avyaktam. So, in the first line itself, he is talking about the real nature of the Lord. In 3 words, he is describing aksharam, anirdesyam and avyaktam. So, what is aksharam? So, in the first shloka, we already discussed about the aksharam, that means which is imperishable. So, he will never perish, he is always there. And next is anirdesyam. That means you cannot define him. He is indefinable. So if you see, if you have to define an element or a material, you should be able to see it. Suppose you see, if you are defining gold. So how to define gold? We'll say this is a metal. It is in gold. It is in goldish color, and then it is available in the earth's crust. Then it has some properties like malleability. It has some properties like ductibility. We have all these things to describe gold. So likewise, we can describe a human being. Human being has, we can describe a human being or a person in a number of ways. Similarly, we can describe any other material depending on its structure, depending on its appearance. All these things we can describe. That is, when you see a thing, you can describe. But if you can't see a thing, how can you describe? So Paramatma is also like that. Because we are not able to see him in his real form, we can't describe him. See, if you are considering God as Lord Rama, you can describe Lord Rama's qualities. But that is okay. Then if you are saying Lord Krishna, you can describe Lord Krishna's qualities. If you are considering God as, say, Goddess Parvati, you can describe her. But that is only for the physical form. But then that is only, we know that only the physical form, it is restricted, like as avatara or whatever. But if we are talking about the nirguna form, we can't see him, so we can't describe him. So these 3 qualities he is saying, avyaktam, anirdesyam and aksharam. Then in the second line, so then he is saying paryupasate. So this paryupasate is in the first line, but it is applicable to the second line also. So he did not stop talking about the qualities in the first line. In the second line also he is saying sarvatragam achintyancha kutastham achalam dhruvam. Here he is talking about another 5 qualities. Sarvatragam achintyam kutastham achalam dhruvam. So these are all the nature of the Lord in the imperishable form or the unmanifested form. So we can't see him. We can't find him anywhere. So then sarvatragam. What does sarvatragam means? Sarvatragam means he is all pervading. He is there everywhere. There is no little place where he is not available. Then Achintyam. Achintyam means we cannot, he is unthinkable. That means we cannot find him even with our mind. See, there are few things which our mind can hold or recognize. Though we cannot see some things physically, our mind can recognize them. There are a number of things like that that goes into creative aspect of our mind. But he's saying the Lord is Achintyam. That means even our mind can't find him. Even our mind can't recognize him. That's beyond our mind also. And then next, Kutastham. That means he does not modify. See, our bodies are modifiable. When we are born, we are like little ones. Then we grow up, we walk, then we become adults, when we become youth, and then we get married, and then again we grow old. Like that, our bodies are designed to modify. So everything, every physical element on this earth can modify. For example, you see, you take ice. If you take ice, it is in the solid form. But if you are keeping it outside for some time, outside the freezer, it will melt and then it will become into the water. That means it is modifying its state from ice to water. Likewise, if you are putting it on the heat, what will happen? It will convert it into steam. It will convert into steam. That means again it is changing its form. It is modifying. So every element on this earth, including our human beings or any other creature, we have a modifying nature. See, you take a seed. If you are planting, if you are putting a seed in the ground, what will happen after some days? A small plant will come, a sapling will come, then it will grow into a small plant, then it will grow into a plant, a tree, and then after some time it may disappear also. So all of us have this modifying nature. But the Paramatma does not have this modifying nature. Okay, and next, so that is why he is called Kutastham. That is, here we can identify that nature with the word Kutastham. Then Achalam. Achalam means, see, it's unmovable. For example, you see, if you take a rock or maybe mountains or hills or whatever, if you take these things, they are unmovable. Achalam. That means you can't move them. They are always fixed over there. So similarly, Lord also is immovable. But he is there always. See, all these qualities are for people or for humans. These are all applicable in a reverse manner. Now you see, we all can move. But he is saying immovable but movable. So you have to understand that. Achalam, he is immovable, but he is there always, everywhere and always. So Achalam, but he is there always. If you are considering him as, suppose I am saying the Lord is besides me, he is immovable for me, he is besides me, but I cannot see him. So that is my perception only. So likewise, we can have our own experience, we can have our own perception about the Lord. And then Dhruvam. Dhruvam means eternal. That means it has been coming from ages. So we cannot define the time, like from when Paramatma is there. So suppose I'm there, I was born in so and so year, so I'm now so and so old, so many years old. So that way we can say, I can say my time, I can define time for me. Similarly, all of us can define a time for us. Suppose you're saying this, if you're taking a house, this house is constructed some 10 years back. Okay, this office is there for last 15 years. So that it's a material of time. So Dhruvam means time does not work for the Paramatma, Dhruvam. So here he is explaining another 5 qualities. First line 3 qualities he explained, and then the second line 5 qualities he has explained. He is mentioned. So first line is talking Aksharam, that means which is imperishable. Second is Avyaktam, which cannot manifest. Anirdeshyam, which is indefinable. Then Sarvatragam, who is all pervading. Achintyam, who is unthinkable. That means even our mind can't get hold of that Paramatma. And Kutastham, which does not have any modifying nature. Achalam, immovable. Dhruvam, he is eternal. That means There's no time factor attached to him. So all this has been Sanatanam also, we can say. For Dhruvam, we can say Sanatanam. From ages it has been coming. That means from the time this Srushti has begun, the Paramatma, even before that Paramatma is there, even after this Srushti Paramatma is there, that means it's permanent. That is a Satya Padartham, we say. So that is the Satya Brahman. So that is how we define him, because that is there always. So that is the real nature of God. So whoever is understanding this real nature of the God and worshipping him, he's saying whoever is understanding this nature and then worshipping him also are my dearest devotees, he is saying, are the perfect devotees. But see, who understanding this nature and worshipping him is, now we may get a doubt how to worship him. Okay, you are understanding this nature of Paramatma, worshipping him in this form, how to worshipping him in this form, we may get a doubt. So this we can answer like see, people, there are some sannyasis or whoever, they leave this society and they then take sannyasam, and then they go into the Himalayas and they spend their whole life worshipping God, I mean meditating upon God, and then finding God in their own self. So Paramatma is there everywhere. So he is there even in ourself. So how to find him? So making your mind pure by your actions and worshipping, you can create a place for yourself, for the God in your mind, in your heart. So that is how you can place him in your heart, in yourself. Then when your mind is pure, when your heart is pure, then you can see God in yourself. But how to see God in yourself? That means you have to make it inner journey. But what we do is, we find God outside our own self. We don't realize who we are, or we don't try to understand our own self. So Bhagavad Gita will help us to understand ourself and then align it with the Paramatma. So that is what Bhagavad Gita is doing. So see, you keep the spiritual aspect aside. Even if you say it is spiritual also, or if you don't say it is spiritual also, it is fine. Okay, we are all normal human beings. We don't want to get into all these things. That spirituality is for somebody who is grown older, or not for kids. Okay, that is what our understanding is. Okay, even then, we have to understand that there is some force which is driving us. Okay, so there is some force which is driving us. Okay, so you say Paramatma. If you think Paramatma is within us, Paramatma is driving us. So we should be knowing who is driving us. Then what is that force because of which I am like this, because of which I am talking like this, because of which I am moving. So all these things, if we have to understand, we have to give a thought. Okay, this whole universe is running on the maybe because of Paramatma only. Because of this Atma Chaitanyam we can call. Atma means, you can say, spirit. The spirit of living. See, we are all living. We only see ourselves at the level of body. But behind the body, there are 5 more aspects. Say, suppose mind. So with the body we are living, but with the mind we are thinking, and then with the intellect we are all acting. Intellect is called buddhi. Okay, so with the intellect we are acting, and then with the consciousness, we all know, no, whether we are doing things right or wrong. And that consciousness we know, that is called chittam. And then the final thing is atma, that means the spirit which is guiding us. So we when so many layers are there for a human being. The first thing is body, the second thing is mind, the third thing is intellect, the fourth thing is consciousness, then the last thing is your self, that is the atma. So when so many layers are there in our life, we don't see we are only acting at the body level. We don't see what is happening at the back. Okay, so now when we understand the real nature of the God and real nature of the self, we try to work on our inner aspects like mind, that is the manassu. Manassu means mind. Okay, and then buddhi, intellect, and then chittam, consciousness, and then we try to revive ourselves our spirit, the spirit which is driving us, that is Atma. So once we are clear about these things, all our sorrows will be gone, and then we will be able to act in a perfect manner in any situation. See, contexts are changing for every person, situations are changing, context is changing. Every day we encounter a new problem. So we are forced to take a decision. We are forced to act in a particular manner. Unless you act, that situation may not end for you. So this, all of us are falling into that trap. So what we have to do is, when you're taking a decision, you have to know what is right and what is wrong, and are you acting according to that situation. So for two, the action may not be, or the decision may not be same for two different people, or for two different contexts, it may differ. So you have to take that decision considering your mind. Your mind, what is your mind doing? It is taking whatever, with the help of sense organs, whatever we are, external things we are taking, we are grasping, the mind is taking all that. So the mind will act after, according to that. So whatever we are taking from outside, suppose you are seeing a bird outside, then you know that bird is, you like that bird, so you are enjoying. What does the mind say? Okay, I am enjoying that bird. But if the mind says, no, no, let us kill that bird. Why is that bird there? So if the mind says that, the intellect knows that you should not kill a bird. But what does your mind will prompt you for some momentary happiness, or for some reason. So you'll try to kill that bird. Then your intellect knows, but your intellect, you're not listening to your intellect. Your mind is acting. Then your consciousness knows, your chittam, your consciousness knows, I have done that mistake. Your intellect and your mind are helping you to, acting together, and then you're performing an action, but your consciousness knows whether you have done it right or wrong. But what we do is, we try to avoid that. So that is chitta, that is chittam, we call it chitta shuddhi. So when you're acting in a correct manner, your consciousness is purified. That is called chitta shuddhi. So when your chittam is shuddhi, that means purified, your consciousness is purified, or your consciousness is pure, then what is there? There is no room for sorrow, because we know what we have done is right. Most of the time, what we'll do when we do a mistake, we try to justify. We try to justify to others that what I have done is right because of so and so reason. So in the process of justification, what we are doing, our mind has acted, your intellect has supported that, but your consciousness, so by justifying to others, what we do, we say, okay, we are trying to justify our consciousness also. So this is all happening at the level of mind and intellect. But your consciousness is above that. And above the consciousness, your self is there. So we have to act towards the self. We have to know the self and then act. This is what Bhagavad Gita is telling us. So here, if you know the real nature of God, what will happen is, you and then worship Him. We try to make a inner, we try to purify our mind, purify our intellect, purify our consciousness, and then, keeping your spirit clean. That means your self is clean. Then that is the way of worshipping God, because no other external factors are influencing your mind. You can focus your mind on God. You don't need any physical form to focus your mind on God. You know God is within yourself. So you'll try to travel in self, inner journey you can make, and then you can concentrate on God. So that is how this Nirguna Upasana is done. Okay, then he's saying, he's giving tips in the next shloka, how to do this Nirguna Upasana. He's saying, Sanniyam ye Indriya Gramam. Sanniyama Indriya Gramam. Indriya Gramam means our sense organs. Okay, so Sanniyam means restraining or controlling. Controlling your 5 sense organs. Why to control the sense organs? Because see, with these sense organs only, we are taking the external stuff into our mind. With the eyes we see, with the ears we listen, with the mouth we talk, with the tongue we eat, with the skin we experience. So all these things, we are taking the whatever external factors are there, we are taking into our mind through the sense organs. So the thing is, if your mind has to be calm, and if your mind has to be cool, you should stop taking these external unnecessary things into your mind through the sense organs, because the sense organs are only responsible to take the things inside our mind. So you have to have that judgment, what things to take and what things not to take. Once you have that judgment, your restraining these things will become easier. So judgment is very important. See, whatever comes my way, I will take, or whatever comes my way, I will listen. So all these things we don't need. Whatever, there's no rule that whatever comes your way you have to take, or whatever comes your way you have to watch, or whatever comes your way you have to listen. There's no rule, no. So you can use your judgment. That is where your intellect will help you. Buddhi, that is where your intellect will help you. So you're using your mind, you restrain your sense organs. That means you decide what to take and what not to take. So once you decide, we can have a judgment. That is how we can control our sense organs and keep our mind cool. Then sarvatra samabuddhayaha. That means he's asking he's asking the devotees. That means he's saying whoever he is having, who is maintaining a stable mind at all times. Sarvatra samabuddhayaha means whoever is maintaining calmness or stable mind at all times. That way we can do the nirguna upasana. First thing is controlling your sense organs with the mind, and then being calm or stable with stable mind at all times. That means, see, for different contexts we may get different results. So each time we get a result, we tend to get influenced by that, and we tend to get depressed, or we become too much happier. I mean, our behavior changes with the result. So samabuddhayaha, that means you take the result, whatever is the result I will take, I will be stable. So if you are deciding that way, so whatever comes whatever result you are getting, suppose you are getting a good result, you will become happier most of the time. If you are getting a bad result or unexpected result, we don't feel happy. So either ways, we are not stable. So extreme happiness is also not stability. Sadness is also not stability. So if you have to be stable, you should give up this happiness and sadness. Both you have to give up. That is how only you can be stable-minded. This happens only when you are working without expectations. If you are working with expectations, you can't be samabuddhayaha. You can't be, because you are expecting a result. And if you are getting that result, you are happy. If you are not getting that result, you are sad. So that is not samabuddhayaha. Sarvatra samabuddhayaha is saying, that means this is not, you should not do this 1 day or 2 days. This has to be your life, throughout the life. Okay. Then tre prapnuvanti. That means you have to attain this samabuddhi by controlling your sense organs with the mind. Then sarvabhuta hite rataha. Then you have to you have to help others and see that every creature is happy, okay, or because of you, you can make them happy, be it human beings or any animal or whatever. So this is how we can do the nirguna upasana. So this 4 shlokas, starting from 3 and 4 are specially nirguna upasana he has explained. In 3rd shloka he has told about the 8 qualities, and then in the 4th shloka he is only giving tips like how to do the nirguna upasana by attaining samabuddhi, and then always maintaining that, and then controlling your sense organs with the mind. So once you are doing this, you can fix your mind anytime on God. This is the tip he has given actually. So next in the 5th shloka he is saying, but it is very difficult to do this nirguna upasana. Why? Because there is no form for the God, and every time you should have that sense. that has to be maintained in your mind, that every time this God is this nature, you have to understand this. Then every time you have to think, every time you have to maintain this samabuddhi, every time you have to restrain your sense organs with the mind. So this is a ongoing process, and people like us who are into this family life and who are in this society, it is very difficult to do this, because we encounter n number of situations every time, and it's not very easy to maintain that samabuddhi in each context. But he has told sarvatra samabuddhaya, that means every time you have to be samabuddhi. But for us it's not very easy to maintain that samabuddhi. So that is why he is saying kleshodhikatarastesham. Kleshaha means your mind, turbulation. Your mind is very turbulent always. So you may find many difficulties to keep that mind stable at all times, to do the nirguna upasana, because you are not seeing any form over there. Fixing that mind on the God is very difficult. And then adhikataraha is saying, that means increasing, adhikam means more. So more and more difficulties they'll face, because you are not seeing any physical form over there. It's very difficult for you to fix your mind on the God. Tesham, for those devotees, avyakta. So whoever is following this avyakta form, avyakta gati, avyakta hi gatir dukkham, he's saying. That means whoever is following this avyakta path to worship the Lord, they are facing difficulties, dukkham. And that dukkham also, how they are facing exceeding more difficulties, because dehavad bhiravapyate. Why? Because we are all embodied, we have bodies. So usually we get associated with somebody who has a body, because our mind is tuned for that. We can't imagine something which is not having any form, or that, I mean, our mind is tuned for that. So it's very difficult for people who are embodied, that means who are with bodies, whoever is taking this nirguna path, it is very difficult for them to travel in this path for a long time. That is the reason whoever is who wants to take this path, they give up all this societal living, and then they go into Himalayas, or they go into forests, or they build their own ashrams, and then they start meditating upon God, because all these are like they when they come on this path, all these they become, because it's very difficult to deal with these things. That is the reason that they leave the society and they go outside. But for us, for people like us also, then we have to worship God, right? So Lord Krishna is giving some tips for people like us, how to do the upasana in the saguna form. So that we will see in the next class. Okay, now we have completed 5 shlokas. The first shloka is the question asked by Arjuna, and next 4 shlokas are the answer given by Lord Krishna. So the first he started with saying, any devotee, whether you're taking the nirguna form or the saguna form, you should have 3 qualities. First quality is you have to fix your mind always on me, then worship me, and then always worship me, and then worship me with shraddha. That means with that belief, trust and love. So love, if you have that love concept, if you are adding the concept of love, unconditional love to your sincerity and your trust, that becomes bhakti. So those people are called bhaktas or devotees. So that is what he told. And then in the next 3 shlokas, he is talking about the nirguna form. He has explained the quality, the 3 real qualities of the Lord. And then 8 qualities he has explained. And then he is saying how to do the worship in the nirguna form by restraining your sense organs. And then sanniyam, then always being with samabuddhi, and then helping others, and then sarvabhuta hiterataha. So taking care of all the creatures. This is how you can do the nirguna upasana, because if you do this, your mind, your chittam becomes, you can attain that chitta shuddhi, your consciousness becomes pure, and then you can see the God in yourself. That is how you can do the nirguna upasana. But he is saying, devotees who are following this path, they may face many difficulties, because we are in this society, and then we always encounter n number of problems, and so it's very difficult to maintain these things, restraining the sense organs, or then being at samabuddhi at all times. It's very difficult. So that is why he's saying, kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. So whoever is following this path, they may face n number of difficulties. So for those who can't follow the nirguna path, they can go to the saguna path. So next, from 6th to 12th shloka, he'll talk about the saguna form, how to do the upasana in the saguna form. Then from 13th to 20th shloka, he talks about 35 qualities of a devotee. So we'll see those things in the next 2 classes. So for now, we will end this class. Anybody can ask me a doubt if you have so. Okay, then we will end this class. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. एतत् फलं श्री सद्गुरुदिव्यचरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु.